All right. If you haven't noticed yet, we're on a break. We're on a summer break, but we didn't want to leave you without any content. So, wanted to give you this conversation we had with NC State men's basketball coach Kevin Keatts. I was able to recently catch up with Kevin over at the Raleigh Times. If you've never been to the Raleigh Times downtown, they're redoing the upstairs, not the outside. That's still perfect for your downtown setting, but the upstairs, it's more of a sports bar feel now and vibe, and you'll see some of those decorations in the background. So go check them out on Hargett Street, the Raleigh Times. Got about 40 minutes here with Kevin, so I really appreciate all of his time. Obviously, it's been an unbelievable whirlwind since the end of the regular season. Really, the last time we talked to him, up in DC, they win the ACC tournament for the first time since 1987, and then they go to the Final Four with really 9 remarkable wins in a row. So, want to give you that conversation. I can't make any more promises about the rest of July, but we will be back on 7/8, Monday the 8th, and hopefully everyone will have a great 4th, have a safe 4th, and remember, if you need a 5th on the 4th, as my friend Josh Goodson likes to say, you got to buy it on the 3rd. So take care of all those things and enjoy your week off and enjoy this conversation with NC State men's basketball coach Kevin Keatts. But first, I got to pay a few bills here. Big thanks to our friends at Copiers Plus. They are the presenting sponsor of Ovius and Giglio. For real, for any of your print or data management needs, go to copiers-plus.com. And Drew and his crew have you covered. The Kyocera printers are no joke. And if I can figure them out, anybody can figure them out. That doesn't mean I haven't had to give an emergency text like, hey, how does this work again? They're very intuitive, though, and they're very helpful. So they've been a big, huge help for our business, and I know they can do the same for yours. So check them out at copiers-plus.com. And yeah, I mentioned we're on a break. We're on a summer break. It's a great time before you hit up the beach or head over to the neighborhood pool, go get some Happy Hale. Get yourself a Burnsy bowl still on the menu. Get yourself the chicken peanut crunch. Get yourself an ahi tuna poke bowl. They have all kinds of great options over at Happy Hale. Download the app. It's Happy Plus Hale on your app store. You get a free smoothie when you sign up on the app. And then if it's within a month of your birthday, even if it's past, you get a free bowl on the Happy Hale app. So that's Happy Plus Hale. They have location over in North Hills and off of Six Forks and Strickland. So Tyler and his crew do such a great job. The app really is the best way to go. You order, it's always ready for you. And you can even get those LaCroix and take care and have yourself a great summer break. Look, I'm going to try to play some golf on this summer break. I can't promise that it's going to happen for me, but if I do get out on the course, you best bet I'll be in my Rowback shirt. Rowback golf shirts, they're the best out there. It's not even close in terms of moisture wicking, coolness, and then the cut of the shirt itself is just phenomenal. Find out for yourself. And I know you're thinking, Joe, I go to a lot of different golf stores. I like to try things on. Well, just trust me. You order from Rowback, customer service, first of all, is off the charts. And I promise you, once you get a shirt, you'll not go with any other brand because they are the best. It's rhoback.com, rowback.com. They're retail online. So it's rowback.com. Use our promo code OG20 and you'll save 20% on your first order. So all kinds of different options in terms of golf shirts, but also shorts, different types of shorts, golf shorts, workout shorts. They have hoodies that are unbelievable. And they also have women's clothing. So they have you covered from everyone in the family from head to toe. Check them out. It's Rowback, rhoback.com, and use that promo code and get yourself 20% off. Before you head to the beach, do me a favor. Head over to Crank Arm. They're in downtown Raleigh, 319 West Davie Street. Get yourself some pops for the beach. Get yourself some beers. The Coast Lightly is an American light lager. And you know how I feel about beer-flavored beer. This is the best. We got all the best over here on the OG. The best beer-flavored beer there is. They also have the Pedal Puncher, which is an Hawaiian punch seltzer. Great options over at Crank Arm Brewing. Go check them out. It's crankarmbrewing.com. You can see all of the flavors that they have. Or better yet, go in person. Go get some cans and stock up and get yourself ready for your summer break. All right, we're trying something new this summer. We're having these conversations. So it's like a standalone episode.
Yeah.
Who better to do the first one here at beautiful Raleigh Times upstairs, where you can come and watch sports. You can come and enjoy some mozzarella sticks. You can come and enjoy some wings. Right here at the Raleigh Times. Who do we start with? The 2023 ACC champion, Kevin Keatts.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm at Raleigh Times, and what a beautiful place. And I walk in and I get, I look around and I see on the wall, why not both?
Yeah,
and excited, and I'm glad that I'm the first guy to be part of something really new.
Well, it's not necessarily new. It's it's just a different way to try to make money and maybe take a day off.
I knew you would. I knew you would find some way to make money. So
right.
I'm here.
Okay.
Whatever. This is your whatever type of. I got to donate to your NIL.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
This is what that is.
That's
perfect. Right. Perfect. So how many times have you gone back? Notice I said ACC champion. I might have sold you short there, but so for other people, they might look at it and go, Final Four has to be the big deal. For people who have followed this team and followed this program, winning the ACC for the first time in 1987, huge accomplishment. Not only that, but to do it in the way that you did, completely unprecedented, winning 5 games in 5 days by beating all of your rivals in the process, and all of the national championship teams of the last 10 years, also in the. Or I guess Syracuse goes back to 03, last 20 years. So, unbelievable run in DC. I didn't mean to shortchange the run to Phoenix. I was there in Phoenix and I enjoyed that as well. But
so are you saying that after we won the ACC, you would have been completely fine not going to the Final Four?
If you lost in the first NCAA tournament game, I would have been like, don't care.
Right.
ACC champions. We had Matt Norlander on about 2 weeks ago now. He was trying to ask us a question. Matt's very, Matt. He's the opposite of me. Like a super even keeled, level-headed dude. And he's like, well, let me ask you, who do you think's more angry right now? Who no, he goes, who do you think is on a hotter seat, or what fan base is more upset, Duke or Carolina? And I go, oh, no, sir. I go, that's the old math. I said, the old math says, oh, yeah, the only thing that matters is Duke and Carolina. The new math says the champions are in Raleigh.
Yeah.
The new math says they're both pissed. Yeah. And they are. And they are.
It was, Joe, what a beautiful run. And I know we'll talk about that as we, go along in the show. But both of them were so special to me.
Yeah.
You think about, going on Tuesday, and very rarely do you even talk about a team that's going to be on Tuesday. Do they even make it to Thursday? And obviously, to get to the championship game, win the championship game. And then obviously, I do think a lot of people were satisfied, except for the folks in the locker room.
Really?
Yeah, we wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about when you look back at the championship game, I think after the game, DJ Horn said, and we're not finished yet. And that was the attitude that our entire group took on. And we were so excited about getting the opportunity to go play in the tournament and winning the ACC at the same time. We wanted more.
Yeah, I mean, there would have been no shame in my head losing to Texas Tech. I mean, tough opponent in that opening round. I knew in Pittsburgh that you'd have some mojo. I believe in the mojo.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. You should be mad at me here in a minute. But no, how many times have you gone back and either watched the championship game or do you have a favorite game from the run that you've gone back and watched and said, okay, that's pretty good?
Yeah, I've watched all 9 games.
All 9. Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And I wanted to watch it. I would go back during the season anyway and watch every game that we played, starting from the beginning to the end. But I kind of did it backwards. I watched it from the Final Four game all the way until we played Louisville. And I just wanted to see what the secret sauce was as far as how we played and the things that we did well and the things that we can improve on. And I'm going to tell you, it's incredible to watch it. It's the first time that I decided to watch it and listen to the announcers.
Okay.
I typically don't do that.
Right.
I'm watching on a Synergy copy where I don't get a chance to do that. But I wanted to hear what everybody was saying because, going into the ACC, you're not the favorite. You're not at all.
Yeah.
And just to see the way the commentators changed as we continue to win and as our team continued to believe, I think it was really special.
So my moment for you was we get to Phoenix. It's the practice day. And I see you with Tracy Wolfson, and I'm like, I go, that's, first of all, selfishly, I was like, that's my guy at the Final Four.
Yep.
Did you have to pinch yourself a little bit that you were on that? I mean, you were there with Louisville.
Yeah.
I'm not diminishing, the run that you guys had with Rick, and obviously all of that success led you to Wilmington and led you here to NC State. So I get it. You had been there before, but it's different being in that top chair, being that guy, being the one on the floor, being interviewed for not only the whole crowd, but the millions of people out there watching those games.
Yeah, I considered myself in our program to be blessed. I wanted it so much. I've talked to our guys since I've gotten here about what it looks like to make the Final Four and then win the national championship. Of course, speaking on the experience at Louisville, this would have been my third Final Four, but our first together as a group at NC State. And it's so much special. I mean, we won a national championship at Louisville, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. But when you have a chance to take a group to the Final Four where you're the head coach and a group that no one believes is going to make it, it was so special. It was really, I looked around and I just was blessed. To get a chance to spend it with my family and my son's on the team, and obviously a bunch of guys who nobody believed in. Everybody changed on us, including people we thought that would stick by us. Yeah.
So you said the secret sauce and going back and watching the games, and we talked about this when you got back from DC, and you said all it clicked because we went back. And you were playing a lot of teams for a second or a third time. I think that always helps, obviously, in DC. But what did you really think? Like, why were the players suddenly like, okay, like this is what we have to do. We have to cut out these little mistakes because there's, let's be honest, like you lose the last 4 games of the year. There's a very easy way for everyone to just be like, okay, let's get the season over with. Let's get into the portal. Let's move it along. So how did you see it working that they were really buying into the scouting report and what you were trying to tell them?
Well, Joe, we lost those 4 games at the end on purpose.
Okay, just to lower every expectation.
Yeah, so everybody would get pissed off at me and talk trash. And no, you know what we did? We went back and looked at ourselves. We talked about, the games that we lost. If you go back and look at them, most of the games didn't have anything to do with the other team. It's the things we didn't do or the things that we could have done better. A couple of things I think really helped us is I had some private meetings with the older dudes. And I know we got a lot of older dudes, but I'm talking about guys like DJ Burns, Casey Marcel, bringing a guy like Michael O'Connor in just to have a conversation. And, this is what we need to do moving forward. And because we've lost those games, I need you guys to be really strong in the locker room because it's easy to say, you know what, we're going to go to DC, play a couple games, then go home. And that's not what we were about. We leaned on our culture a lot. Our culture, we go by ART, ARTT, accountability, relentless, toughness together. And, when things wasn't going well, we said, hey, let's just go back to who we are. This is our identity. This is what we need to do. If we clean up these mistakes, we will win a lot of games. And this, I talked about, bringing something that meant something very special to them, something that was lucky to DC. Okay. I bought the box of rings that I had from my time at Hargrave and time at Louisville and UNCW. And I said, I want every person in the program to bring something lucky with them that means something special. Don't tell us what it is. We don't care what it is. But we're going to go to the ACC and we're going to win the tournament.
I did not realize that. See, I bought you myself a lucky charm. Yeah. It was in spirit for you. It was, and we'll get into this because I had a pretty honest conversation with your agent, and I was like, I got to get some mojo for my guy. I got to get something going here for my guy. So at the shop at the hotel, the ACC hotel in DC, they had something that was supposed to be a good luck charm, and it's this little yarn figure, and all of his fingers are crossed and all of his toes are crossed. Yeah.
Oh, you bought that?
I bought it.
See, that's what I mean. Yeah,
I bought that.
So let me make sure I understand this on this as we speak. You're the reason why we
no
because of that.
No. I bought that because, like I said, I needed to get a little mojo for you, which this, and then this is where you should be mad at me. I forgot to pack it for Phoenix.
You didn't pack it?
I forgot to pack. It was in my bag the whole time in DC. Bought it in. I put it up on the wall with some of the other stuff from DC. Yeah. So I had it on the wall because I was watching the games in the studio.
Right.
So, I'm watching your NCAA tournament games, all but the Duke one, in the studio. So the Oakland game, I'm in the studio. You could see the little thing in the background. the little charm in the background. I'm like, I can't move it now because that was the overtime game, and that was the one I felt like it was, it was it was a little bit of
pretty important game at the end.
Exactly. So, and then when you beat Duke, I was over at the Rialto with Hayes Permar at his place, and he does such an unbelievable job over there that I was like, well, I don't need it. I don't need it. But I did wear my same shirt from the Carolina championship game to the Purdue game.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, so you had some luck. I mean, as an NC State graduate,
right?
You had some luck. Our guys had luck. I wore the same shiny Prada shoes.
Yeah.
I know there's a myth out there that I wore the same clothes.
No. I noticed that you had a different pullover for basically whatever the team was wearing.
Absolutely.
You tried to match the team.
Yeah.
So,
when
I look at it and I look back at it, and I think, not only were you on that stage, but to have the clean look at it that you did up until O'Connell's injury, anything about that Purdue game other than wanting to have Mike, completely healthy for that game that you look back at now and say, if only this or only that, or do you just kind of tip your hat to Purdue in the way that they were able to play? I mean, the way that I looked at it, Edey was such a problem. I kept waiting for you guys to have a game where you make a bunch of threes and you won a game because you win a bunch of threes. To me, that was actually the most remarkable part of the 9-game run.
Yeah, we did.
There was there was no one game where you caught a heater and just won the game because you got lucky.
Yeah,
you literally outplayed. I mean, Virginia might have a quibble here or there, but you literally outplayed 8 of those 9 teams for the majority of the game.
So when we talk about Purdue,
I
had to live with what we had. When Michael went down, it completely changed our team. If you remember, Joe, we had shrunk our rotation to probably 7, 8 dudes, and we were now down to 6, 7. And it took DJ Horn, who had scored the basketball, it made him play more point guard. It completely changed it. It was nothing we could do. We played hard as we could. We competed. We had our moments, but without Michael, who was our leader, who could get the ball to everybody else, it completely changed us. And that's a good basketball team. I would love to have seen what would have happened if we'd have played them and we were completely healthy. But I'm not going to take away from Purdue because obviously they got a good program, a good basketball team.
I mentioned the losing streak at the end of the year. The Syracuse one is the one that bothered you, and I know it was the one that I left, and I'm like, what the heck? You just had this unbelievable performance against Clemson. I thought you guys were back on the right path. I thought you'd be in the tournament as in that large team, and then the Syracuse game happens, and I'm like, I think a lot of people had that. I think you had that reaction.
Yeah.
So just going back and thinking about that and thinking about where you were, like, were you? I mean, you had to be legitimately concerned about your future, right?
I was disappointed.
You were disappointed.
I was disappointed in the outside noise.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why I was disappointed. I want you to think about this. In the ACC, there are only 5 teams that have been to the tournament the last couple of years, and actually 3 years.
Okay.
And it's only been 3 now that's been back-to-back. That's us, Virginia, and Duke.
Mm-hmm.
We were just coming off of an NCAA tournament. We were 1 game from being 500 in the ACC, which typically a lot of time this year. Yeah, a lot of times people will, look at that and say, can you go 500 in a league? I was just disappointed for our players. When you look at, how hard they'd work, people would die to be coming off an NCAA tournament when you have the ACC, who's getting the lowest amount of number of teams in the tournament that we've ever gotten, and just to see how people acted or reacted to my players was disappointing. Not me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a coach. I understand things get personal. Nobody takes it harder than me. And I say that to everybody who may have said, oh, man, let's do this and let's do that. Hey, I'm the one who's going to go back and watch every game and chop everything up and reevaluate everything. But these guys played their butts off, and it wasn't like we were getting blown out of games. We just didn't finish. We weren't clicking the way we needed to. And I think more than anything, just disappointed at the reactions of some of the folks.
Are you over that now?
I am.
Yeah.
And everybody, let me say this as I say disappointment. Everybody has their right to have their opinion. I never get mad at someone for their opinion, but at the end of the day, we have to recruit here. We have to retain here. We're talking about who we are as a program. Go back. I'll say this again now. There's 3 teams in our league that's been to back-to-back NCAA tournament, and one of them by the way, is NC State.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it, this is hard. You know, we're the 114th team here at NC State. It's only been 4 that went to the Final Four, and we're one of 4 of them. It's only been 4 staffs. We're one of 4 of it. So I get a little disappointed. I'm not mad. I don't ever get mad at anybody for what they think. People have opinion. It's completely up to whoever decides. But our guys are working their butts off every day. They're competing in practice. And for those who have been to a practice, you would understand that, and you wouldn't be so quick to judge if you knew that.
Part of me wants to give you a hard time about that answer. And then part of me remembers before the 23 season, I had asked you, do you think you're coaching for your job?
Yeah.
Which I think most normal people would say yes, right? You said to me, no, I don't see it that way. And I was thinking to myself, why doesn't he see it that way? And I think that's just the way that you are.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a different approach and a little bit different mentality. Not that you don't care about your own well-being. We all do, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 people at this table. One of them's been fired. Okay.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you, it ain't fun.
Yeah.
it ain't fun.
Well, let me answer that, Joe. That would insinuate.
But nobody speculated about. Now, I got fired in public, mind you, but nobody speculated like, oh, what happened? Or nobody said for weeks, like, you're about to get fired and you better get better. And so that part of it for you, and you've always been really good at blocking out noise. And I don't know where that comes from.
I think it's a lot of people that have opinions, but I want to remind them, just so you know, if you're doing social media and you have an opinion, I don't read it. So it doesn't matter.
Okay, now don't make me.
No, I don't.
Don't make me coach you up on this one.
Listen,
you got to stop blocking people on Twitter.
No, and let me say this to you. Let me say this to you too. If I said that I'm coaching for my job, that means I'm changing the way I'm coaching. I'm not putting everything into it. I am putting everything, whether we have a great year or a bad year. When that season starts, I am so locked into my program. I really don't listen to what people say on the outside. I really don't. Like, I'm locked in, and I know sometimes people think that they affect what you say. You know, when you recruit a bunch of young men, you really don't care about anybody else. I care about the guys in the locker room and doing the best I can for them and their family.
Coaching for your future also implies that it's about you, and it's not about you.
It's not about
that I do know. But before we move on, and we'll hit an ad break here and talk a little bit about next year, because I felt like this was good luck. Last year, speaking of good luck, we talked about the new guys coming in, gave people an idea what was going on with the team and the roster, so that's good. But the outside noise and opinions are one thing. Was there ever a point though let's look at the end of March, February, you're in the streak, you're in this thing, you're going to DC. Was there ever a point where you mentally thought, okay, if this doesn't go the right way, it's going to be over for me here? It'll be my time will be up here.
The answer is no.
You did not have that mindset.
Because I'm going to give you everything I have up until the end.
Up until you say it's over.
And listen, I always rely on my faith.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the run without our players and our faith and believing in one another. And, you know, I'm one of those guys that, hey, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I will say this now, and I'll say it. The place is in a better place than when I took it.
Sure.
So you think about what we've been through. I think what has happened is people have forgotten how we got to where we got. And it took a little time, and you don't get credit for some things. And not that I want that, but at the end of the day, each individual year is completely different. And this team, I owe this team to see it all the way through the end. Is this my most talented team? Probably not. But it's probably my most connected team, and those guys worked hard and they believed in it. So I never worry about, people can say whatever they want to about me, but they will always say this guy cares about his family, he cares about his team, and he's going to work his ass off. And that's what, when you're a coach, that's all you can ask for.
So if the rings from Louisville and Hargrave are what you took to DC, I'm guessing the ring from DC, the ring for the Final Four, those are the things that you'll keep from this year, or is there something else that you kept along the way that will mean something to you, or maybe your kids and your grandkids down the road? No, I took Louisville. I took Hargrave, took UNCW. I think I had a little advantage. At the mid-major level, you always have to win the tournament to go. Yes.
And we did it twice. But what our cats did, Joe, and they're starting on a Tuesday with the folks that we had to play and to be standing, cutting the nets down for the championship, man, that's incredible. That 9 games you may not ever see again. But, I'm going to cherish those moments. Those will be added to our box of good luck as we move forward. And I'm excited. We get think about this now. At NC State, we get a chance to hang a banner.
I went over to the Justin Timberlake concert on whatever day it was last week. And I was looking up and I was like, oh, man, I'll just say it. You can't say it. Like, finally, like, please put something different up there. Please. There's like 8, 83 and 74 batters. Just please add something new. And obviously you got 2 shiny ones coming in.
And it's some great players. And this championship is not just about our team here. It's about every program that came through in basketball where people talk trash, and you can no longer say that 37 or 40 years we don't have a ACC championship, because we do now. And so now you can come up with whatever story you want, but you cannot say that men's basketball doesn't have a championship in the last 40 years. Can't say it anymore.
And it's quite a streak to end, and that's quite a smile. All right, enough about last year. Let's take a quick break. Let's pay a few bills. And then when we come back, let's talk about what we have coming in, what you have coming in with this team. Because like I said, it was good last year. We gave people an idea of what this team could look like. And then I'll even ask you a DJ Burns question that I've been meaning to sneak in on you. So we'll see how that goes. Hang tight. When I'm driving out to New Jersey for summer vacation, I make sure that I hit up the breeze through either on Pool Road or 4042 before I'm on the road for good. You got to get all those snacks. You got to get the good ice for your road trip. And maybe you got those crank arm beers. You want to make sure they're cool for when you get to that final destination. They also have an amazing beer selection at Breeze Through as well. And perhaps most importantly, dark roast coffee. So big thanks to our friends at Breeze Through, our corporate champions. We could not do this without them. Support them this summer in all the ways that you can. Man, you want to talk about summer treats? You want to talk about things I missed this week? 2 roosters. All right, it's going to be July by the time you guys see this and by the time I get back. So I'm going to be really excited for the new items on the menu. But I know what will always be on the menu: bourbon coffee, the coffee bourbon. It's so good. Hit them up, 2 Roosters, Jared and his crew over on Person Street there. They have 5 locations, but Person Street and then the OG Epicenter over at Lake Boone. Again, I'm so excited to get back into North Carolina to see what the new flavors are going to be in July. But you can also you can see all the options that you have at 2roosters.com. And I'm not going to lie to you, already stocked up for the trip at Nature's Relief Hemp Store. There's one in Garner. Speaking of locations, they're also on Western Boulevard. They're also out by the old school, the Peddler on Glenwood, out there past the mall. The old school, man. Check them out. It's Nature's Relief, RELEAF, hempstore.com. Nature's Relief, hempstore.com. If you just need to chill, and you know what, maybe you're tired of drinking, maybe you just want to relax, but you want to have a little bit of a little bit of a just to chill, and you got questions whether you need gummies, whether you want something to smoke, or whether you want something to drink, do yourself a favor, head over to Nature's Relief. The people who work there understand all of this. Do not be intimidated. They're very helpful, they're very insightful, and they'll tell you what you need. So go check them out. It's Nature's Relief hempstore.com. It just occurred to me I didn't bring you headphones for you to hear the beautiful transition music and all the other things that we have going.
I think I'll pass. I'm glad.
Since I know you don't partake in the Ovius and Giglio podcast. Georgette might, though.
Yes.
Miles definitely does.
Miles is on.
So you got people kind of sort of spying on me a little bit.
Well, people know what's going on with you. But you're my guy.
I am.
But my people know what's happening.
All right, we're going
right
there. See, this is technology right here. All right. Luckily, I have my NIL sources now.
Yeah.
since, sometimes you'll talk to me, sometimes you won't. I get that. You got things you got to do. So I was prepared for Modiara. My man Chung Yeezy prepared me that Modiara, look, man, doesn't really love school that much. Going to go back home. He's going to make some money. I said, okay, I can square that. I was ready to see him, have another year, but I get it. You got to lose some people sometimes. So let's start with the people that you added, right? So, well, for context purposes, you lose obviously your DJs, DJ Horn, DJ Burns, and Modiara and Casey Marcel. Those are your starters. Those are guys who really showed out, and there is no 9-game winning streak without those guys and all of the different roles that they played. So totally get that. But coming in, where would you like to start? I got 4 primary names here.
Yep.
You want to start with the Louisville guys, or you want to start with your others? I'll let you steer the ship.
Yeah, let me say this. We do not have a ACC championship or Final Four run without the 4 guys that you named.
Yes.
Those guys were tremendous. And I'm never going to get mad at any player for doing whatever they think is best for them and their family.
Yeah.
So Mo obviously, decided he wanted to stay in and become a pro. And I just said, go for it. If you're going to do it, be the best you can. Both DJ Burns and DJ Horn are having great workouts. What will that lead to? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think they both are doing a good job. And Casey's probably going to, he's thinking about, getting into the professional world right now. Could change his mind and want to play basketball, overseas for a little bit. But right now, I think all of those guys are in really good spots and excited about what all 4 of those guys' future will be.
You mad at DJ Burns? I'm a little bit mad at DJ Burns. No,
not at all.
No.
How can you be mad at DJ Burns? I mean, anybody,
you can't. You have the
if you're mad at DJ Burns, something's wrong with you. I love DJ Burns. Yeah.
Why
are you mad?
Part of me was like, now you want to lose 40 pounds? Now.
Listen.
Now. Okay.
Listen. DJ Burns helped us get an ACC championship and a Final Four.
I'm just telling you how my brain works.
Yeah,
you
this. Can't be mad at that.
I'm just saying.
Maybe the 40 pounds wouldn't have helped us at the time.
Maybe I'm just jealous that
all I can tell you is that dude was the hardest guy to guard in that 9-game stretch that anybody had seen.
I hope there's an NBA team that takes him. I hope there's one that takes Edie, and I hope they give them both 10 minutes and say, you change for us. You adjust to us. Because I think they're both capable of being that kind of role at the next level. So let's start with the Louisville guys. Mike James is a guard. You saw him in DC. And Louisville, obviously, you have a connection. You're a former assistant there. I don't think there's anything more than that. I don't think like you were like, calling in favors or anything. I think you just have an eye in the portal and know who can play and who can't.
That's right.
So starting with Mike, let's start there. What kind of player he is and what kind of expectation do you have for him and his role for next year's team?
Yeah, I love Mike James. The one thing I'll say, and I'll speak about all of them, and I'll talk about Mike. We went out and found 4 guys in the portal that are all double-figure scorers. Could really affect their team. Mike's good. What I like about Mike is he can play either the 2 or the 3. Could be a really good defender. Had moments last year where I thought he really shot the ball really, really well. In particular at Miami, I think he made at least 7 threes in that game. But he's tough. Could be, will be very good in transition.
6'5", 200. I mean,
6'5",
he's pretty solid.
Yeah, he will fill some type of role that Casey Marcel had played.
Okay.
But I think he'll be really good for our program. And I'll turn to Brandon.
I was going to say, we can officially just nickname him the airport, right?
Yeah, he's
Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Sounds like an airport.
Brandon is talented.
Okay. 6'10", 240.
6'10", 240. The thing that I think people will love about him is his ability to play the 4 or 5. In Louisville, he was mostly a 5, but really coming out of high school, the guy was more of a pick and pop 3-point shooter than anything.
Okay.
Kind of had to, whatever Louisville needed, he provided for those guys. But he's talented, can score inside out. Him and
had
Ben,
some kind of game against you in DC, by the way.
Yeah. Him and Sky Clark. I was like, man, Sky Clark wanted to win that game. But Brandon's talented. Can score with his back to the basket. One of those rare guys, not in the fashion of DJ Burns, but more of a face you up, can get to a spot and score. Tremendous rebounder. plays on both ends of the floor. I love both of those guys. And when you go in the portal, Joe, this is the unique thing about it. You can recruit to need. You can go out there and say, hey, this is what we lost. This is what we need. So I love those two guys. And Dontrez Styles, which
Kinston. This is the third time trying to get Dontrez, right?
Hey, and it took a Final Four, but he's here right now. That's right. If you think about this, I want to say this, and you got to check me on this. I think Dontrez Styles hit the shot to send Carolina to the Final Four a few years back.
Okay.
I want you to go check on that. But he's a hybrid forward, 4-3. Just put him on the floor. It's the tight end on the floor. He can run, he can catch, he can block. It's a tight end analogy. But I love what he brings to the table. He's older. He's been in 2 programs and now coming to his 3rd and knows how to play. And so we're really, really excited about him. And then Marcus coming from mid-major.
Whoa. You can't get a guy from Carolina and just yada 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 that you got a guy from Carolina. I know that he had a stop in between.
I didn't get a guy from Carolina.
Okay, well,
you got a guy from Georgetown.
Sure.
There you go.
That's how the fans will see it.
I got a guy from Georgetown. So that's why I moved on. I got a guy from Georgetown. See, I knew you would try to say there's a guy from. No, we got a guy from Georgetown.
Okay. Well, you got to have a little bit of motivation there. He should have not you, but him, right?
No, I think his motivation is he looked at our program and saw the way we played this year and said, you know what, I want to be a part of that. I have a chance to come back closer to home. And he's always been a great kid. We've always had a great relationship. Okay.
Yeah. Marcus Hill is the guy who feels like the Jarkel Joyner mold of here's a guy who can come in here and be the DJ Horn type leader, scoring bus driver type guy.
Yeah. 20 points a game.
That's a lot.
Yes.
I don't care what level it is. That's a lot.
20 points a game.
Yeah, the MAC is still pretty good.
The MAC is a good league and can really score the basketball. I think what's more impressive about him is he lives at the free throw line. The guy's a paint touch guy.
A lot like DJ was. Horn was. Yeah.
Just like DJ. Plays a little bit more physical than DJ.
A little bit bigger. 6'4", 185. I mean, that's.
Yep. Can score from the inside, outside. Really hungry. You think about where DJ Burns started, obviously at Tennessee, but didn't really play and then played at Winthrop. When you get some guys, and we only get 1 or 2 of those guys that play at the mid-major level, they're desperately hungry to show everybody how good they are. And I think with Marcus, I think you'll see a really good basketball player.
All right. And you got some guys coming back.
Yep.
Mike O'Connell, great moments in Joe and Kevin history, which we'll just leave off the air, but still one of the great moments in Joe and Kevin history.
Yes.
We'll just keep that between us. Mike O'Connell, who kind of came on at the end of the year, you thrust him into that starting role in DC because DJ Horn wasn't feeling great and really kind of turned out to be a little bit of a stroke of coaching genius, if you will.
He was good. Yeah. He was solid.
Steadied the ship. Just kind of got people in the right spots for you.
One of the things that helped us in the run is Mike's voice became important. Early on, he wasn't a talker. He didn't know what his role was. And if you go back and watch some of those games during the timeout, boy, he was active. He was talking. He was a leader on the floor. And I think that really translated to our guys.
Ben Middlebrooks, another guy who, I gave you a hard time. You made a trade with your boy, Brownell down there at Clemson. Jack Clark for Ben Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks come in now last year. Obviously, you found a way to play him with not only Mel Diarra, but DJ Burns. Now, obviously, he's going to have a little bit bigger role for you.
Yeah. Transfers, Joe, are very tricky. I remember you.
Yeah.
Michael, Ben, Mo. None of those guys average 6 points a game.
Right. I told you, just go out and get guys who can score. Don't guess.
Yeah. But think about this now. All 3 of those guys filled a great role for us. They did a tremendous job. And the tricky thing about I laugh when folks have top transfers, like here's your top 100 transfers. Now that it's over, I would love someone to go back and say, hey,
here's who actually
Michael
contributed.
What was Ben? What was Ben? Well, none of those guys were top 100. But guess what they have? They got an ACC championship in the Final Four. Ben was great. He was kind of the enforcer on our team. What we thought coming in, did a great job. Him and DJ split minutes at the center position. He had great games. I think it was, I don't know if it was Texas Tech, but the game he had in the NCAA tournament to move us forward, he played a great role for us. He did a great job, and he's got to take a big step forward now.
Do you know how NC State shit really is dead?
This is dead.
Do you know how it's really dead?
I want to know how it's dead.
The dunk where he gets called for the technical, and it didn't matter. Didn't affect the outcome of the game, right?
Yeah,
if that's not a sign,
it affected me. I was bothered by that. That was Kevin Keatts shit. I was like, what was that? I was bothered.
But you survived it.
I survived it. That's right.
And you killed it. So
yes.
Take credit. Put it on your resume, please. Breon passed Dennis Parker. Breon was a guy I thought really helped you in a tough spot in Phoenix. Came in there, gave you some really good minutes. Dennis obviously wasn't healthy enough to play during the postseason. He's a guy you can bring back with an off season. You can get a little bit more out of him, I know, and he showed some splashes last year too. And then Jaden Taylor too is a guy, we had talked about last year coming from Butler. What could he be? What can he be? I think he surprised the shit out of me, but as good of a defender as he was. I mean, he was probably a better defender than he was probably the best defender on your team, and that's saying a lot with Casey.
Yeah, I tease Casey. I like, Casey, this is the second year now. Jarkel Joyner came in and passed you because he was a better defender. Now Jaden Taylor played a very important role for us. When Horn went out the last game at Pittsburgh, Jaden Taylor brought us back. We almost had a chance to win that game, but he was important, and we mixed him in, coming off the bench, starting him sometimes, but played a great role for us, had some really good moments. Now we just want him to grow and get better.
I thought that was kind of an underrated like you always talk about guys you get out of the portal, but that's a guy who could have just said, okay, cool. I've had enough. I'm going to go find something else. I mean, that's going to help you with your continuity this season. And you got two freshmen coming in.
Yeah.
One of them, I understand, even Scott Wood says it has that type of outside stroke in Paul McNeil.
He can shoot it.
Okay.
I mean, he can shoot it. He can shoot it with range. He's got great size. He got here for. I'm
not trying to put the screws on him. I'm just saying I've heard that even Scott said this kid can really shoot.
Yeah, but you're trying to put the screws on him.
I'm not.
So, well, listen, he got here yesterday for summer start. Has grown about 6'6".
Okay.
Looking forward to getting him on the court. I think he could be really good. That's Paul. Trey's about as exciting as you're going to see as
he jump out of the gym, right?
Out of the gym, but he's much more than that. I want people to be careful because you look at all the dunks and you look at the Instagrams and everything else, and you're like, man, this guy's a freak athlete. But he's a really good basketball player. Can pass. He's a little bit older because he stayed another year at OTE. And so I'm excited about those two guys, and, putting some older guys around them will really help them.
That's a good mix.
Yeah.
What is your hope for this group?
Well, I'm going to pull the Westmore deal. Man, we're not very good. I don't know what, I don't know. I love our group.
Yeah.
I will say this, Joe, and I'll say this to you. We have more guys in the gym with this particular team when they're not required to than any program that I've had here, any team that I've had here. And that means, I look around and I hear basketball bouncing pretty much all day. And that's not even when we can work them out.
Part of the success is that chip on your shoulder from the end of the season that you had mentioned, even if you're proving your own fans wrong, right? Not you, but the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's almost the opposite, right? Now there's going to be some expectations, even if those major players are gone. How do you kind of tell your group that every year is different? You got to run your own race, but how do you kind of get across to them that no matter, even with our fans, it's going to be the other team now that looks at you and go, oh, that's a Final Four team. We're showing up tonight. You're not going to get many sleepy nights on the schedule this year.
We talk about all of that. And the one thing we talk about in the preseason, I don't get as much into the season, but I told our guys the other day, like the last year's team, we finished number 10 in the country. Nobody talks about that a lot. And so everybody comes with this way too early top 25, and you won't see us in any of them.
Right.
And it's hard as a player when you look and see people with so much roster changeover and they still got people in the top 25. It's always the same top 25 teams that's in there, by the way. And you'll throw a 2 or 3 at the end. We'll use that as motivation this summer to get better, to be able to challenge some of those guys. Last year, one of the things we talked about is most of those guys on my roster had never went to the NCAA, had never won a championship. Now they have. So we'll talk about winning the championship, getting to the tournament for the guys who've never been there before.
Well, congratulations to you. Appreciate all the things that you've done for me. And you know this, last summer when I needed you, you were there for me. So I appreciate that. I've always been there. You've always, first person you always ask about, not me, but my wife and everything that she's been through. So, I appreciate you. And I know a lot of NC State fans appreciate you too, because you can walk around a little bit different now. Yeah. And you can talk a little shit to your Duke friends and your Carolina friends, as I've done multiple times. Well, Joe,
I'm gonna say this to you. Thanks for all you do, and I'll tell you the sign of a true man and a character is when they show up for you when things ain't going your way.
That's right. I always try to tell you that anybody can. And I learned that from Roy. Now I got to point to the pastor. I learned that from Roy. He said, you have the radio show. He's like, when you win, everybody goes to that radio show. He goes, when you lose, he goes, who really cares about you. And so I like to call you after a loss, even though you might not want to talk to me.
And listen, trust me when I tell you now, I know who was showing up for me when things wasn't good.
Yes.
And those who decided to show up when things became really good.
Sure.
So I remember those people.
Well, I try to stay out of your way when you're winning. You got lots of friends when you're winning, but appreciate you being there for me. And best of luck this summer and then the season coming up. And try. I know you don't really get this anymore. A week or two, maybe with the fam, get down to Wilmington, get down to the beach and try to enjoy yourself and rest up for next year. Because
a week or two is too long. Long weekends. Let's talk about long weekends.
How about a day, man? We just had Father's Day. Maybe you got a little bit of that. So appreciate you. And again, all right. Thanks again to Kevin Keatts. Now, we did this last summer, and I think it gave us pretty good insight to what the roster was going to look like, what the team was going to look like. Now, we did not know how this year was going to end, and we don't know how the next year is going to end, but hopefully that's a primer for you. You guys enjoyed that conversation with Kevin Keatts. If you did, hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button. Leave some comments. Those are all good for the algorithm. And again, we will be back on Monday, July 8th, but appreciate everyone for checking out this summer chat with Kevin Keatts right here on Ovius and Giglio.